Yep. Oh no.
Take it away, Logan, whilst I sort this out.
Hello, welcome to Competitive Speed Series. You know the drill by now. We've done 4 rounds, and we're now into the round 5 after a week break. We are at the home, well, I say the home of British Motorsport, where Formula 1 began in 1950. Well, the current form of it. It's Silverstone.
Absolutely. Welcome back,
Track.
everybody. It's round
Yes.
number 5. Joining alongside me, sorry about the audio issues. I tried to get my audio working and it just decided not to. That was brilliant. We love that. But alongside me, as always, who took it away brilliantly and improvised as great as you ever can, it is the wonderful Logan Skelton. How are we, Logan, first and foremost?
Yes, we are doing very good. I was just about to explain. Silverstone, of course, hosted the first race back on 13th of May, 1950, the first World Championship Grand Prix. Of course, they had Formula One before the World Championship, but like the current state of Formula One, it's been then. This is the 5th round of the season. We'll just talk about the current standings. CPI currently dominating with 208, winning the first 3 rounds. LDL in second with 161. NLR on 119 in third. 114 for the team in fourth, the IRTs. WR have pulled out, but they're still on the leaderboard. They're on 87 in fifth. RCR, Race Concept Racing, are on 37 in sixth. VMV, 35. RVL, 32. Artemis, 30, which is... Actually, it doesn't show up what it is. Anyway, and ESRL are at the bottom with 22. Not until we have the brand new team replacing WR. That would be the ET8 team. They will be taking over WR's place, but they will have to start on a clean slate. They'll start on 0.
Yeah, absolutely. A clean slate for ETA, starting all the way from 0. Disappointing to lose WR, a proven team, a known quantity within the esports scene, but nonetheless, we press on. Some good teams, a lot of competition, and a lot of things still to unfold in this season, and obviously heading to Silverstone, one of the most iconic tracks on the entire game, let alone the world. It's just one of those tracks you love to get behind. It always provides great action. You know, it's going to be an absolute corker tonight. But obviously, last time out in Canada, a great race there too. So plenty of things to unfold here tonight. Obviously, drivers just sorting themselves out for the last couple of moments. Drivers starting to ready up though, so it won't be all too long till we're getting underway for some action around the iconic Silverstone circuit, as Logan quite rightly said, hosted that first Formula 1 race all the way back in 1950, and well, 74 years later, and we're still going back there for yet another season of action. And well, I mean, this might not be real life Formula 1, but certainly it provides just as much, if not more, opportunities to overtake. And where are those hot spots going to be, Logan?
Sorry, what I have completely been away from my headset.
Not a problem. I was asking you about the overtaking hotspots around Silverstone.
Oh yes, definitely. The first corner, of course, where Lando Norris took the lead on the first corner. I saw it in my very eyes. Well, I wasn't at that corner, but I saw it. Like I was there last year. I'm going this year as well. We have, of course, down at the Hanger Straight, down at the Wellington Straight, even at Cops, except if you're Lewis Hamilton, we do not recommend that. Also, of course, I believe the arena section was added in 2010. I believe it's called, and correct me if I'm wrong, is it Aintree? Or is that, or no, it's Loop, I think. But the first corner of the track is quite a shot if you're feeling brave.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that is Silverstone. It's been its current state since 2011. I say that's when they moved the pit straight to just after Club and before Farm. Or Abbey, sorry. Abbey, the first corner.
Yes. Well, obviously drivers beginning to ready up. It's only going to be a couple of seconds until we're getting onto trackside for this race, race weekend. We're beginning with that 18-minute qualifying session to set that grid up for the race, and I can take you across to the gameplay in just 2 seconds time. Quite literally, here we go. It is time for some Silverstone action. The audio's all good, Logan. We don't even have to worry about my game audio. But here we go. It's going to be a great old time here around such an iconic track, and even better is the fact that we've got some drivers here that just, they're gonna have a great time. I mean, especially, you know, the likes of Lars Kramer and ET8 Pool. It's their first race here. They've got to try and make a statement here, and well, it's down to them to try and do it now.
Yes, indeed it is. Just like you mentioned, we have a couple qualifying bands who have shown up late. Not really a fan of the rule, but you know, I have to be neutral here. Fleddy, Clemo, and Gillarm have all been given qualifying bans. They'll have to start at the back. I understand it's a very controversial rule. However, that's what it's been implemented by the heads here. We can't really have any say in it, in all honesty, but it is rubbing some people the wrong way, understandably. However, we must go with the flow, and let's get out there and have some fun in qualifying. One 18-minute session coming right up. And of course, the fastest time gets pole position.
Absolutely, fastest time will get that coveted pole position around such an iconic circuit. You want pole position around this sort of place because, well, whilst it doesn't necessarily mean you win, it does give you certainly a better chance of it. And taking to the track all of these drivers. Now I've just realised I've not gone on board with any driver. I was a little distracted looking at me telemetry, trying to sort that out, so I can make sure I give you guys every bit of information I can at every single opportunity. But here we go. Drivers are beginning their hot laps now, and it's Moustache who's going to be the first driver to start a lap time around the circuit. And, well, what can NLR do? Actually, I've just said that as he lets Artem through there. And, annoyingly, that does mean that it's now going to be CPI who begin the first laps. Actually, Artem's come into the pit lane, so I'm not quite sure what's happened.
Artem left the
there.
session.
Left the session, and as a result, seems to have immediately gone back into the pit lane. But Moustache beginning the first flying lap here of the Silverstone circuit. And now, this lap time, where can you extract the maximum lap time here? Well, Sector 1 is certainly a great opportunity down here into Village, and then through into the loop, and then into Aintree here. Very careful to plant the power down here on the exit. You've got to be super duper duper careful around these sort of corners in order to try and make sure you don't invalidate. You don't want to do that around this sort of circuit. But here we go into Brooklands and then into Laffield. Such a sweeping right-hand corner. Your tyres, especially those outer tyres, they're going to overheat very easily in through Woodcote. And the tyres, they'll ease off a little bit. But now the approach to Cops Corner, one of the hardest tracks to get right. Very easy to invalidate here, especially when you carry as much speed as these guys do, over 108 miles an hour through there very comfortably. Into Magnus, Beckett and Chapel now with Moustache. It's not looking bad for them at this stage, but Paul is definitely going faster. He's got that purple Sector 1 to his name, but Moustache running through this final sector here, going to get a slipstream off the Mercedes. That is Fraser there going round and on his outlap, beginning his hot lap in just a couple of moments' time. But Moustache now round the final couple of bends through Vale and then through Club Corner onto the Hamilton Straight, as it is now known. And Moustache there sets the benchmark time at 1:24.994. And now that is the time for others to chase, Logan.
Yes, just under the 125. Paul breaks it with just under 3/10 improvement, 124.706. On ET8 making their debut tonight, some with imports from other teams, WOR especially, Lars Kramer being one of them. Now, still in the same car, the Aston Martin, of course, loaned to them, just like in every other car, because, of course, we can't afford to build our own cars, sadly. And we have a teammate, Alpha Gully, has just snipped right behind Moustache, 12 thousandths down, as, Fleddy Oh yeah, Fleddy's got a qualifying ban, of course, I almost forgot. So he cannot participate in qualifying. They're allowed 1 lap, and that's it. They have to come back in. No flying lap, just 1 lap, installation. 10 drivers still on the lap. We've got 5 minutes remaining in this session. I've got Lars Kramer on, and he's going to get a tow from Paul. This is legal here. It isn't in other leagues, but it definitely is in this league. It is a team game. It is a team game. The more important championship to win is the team's championship. The driver's championship, a bit of a Brucey bonus.
Yeah, absolutely. Every little bit of performance is great, and every point matters a lot here. There's a lot of points awarded for a lot of things, but the points do add up here. So certainly these drivers going to be trying to maximise every single one of them. Lars Kramer, though, as you mentioned, getting that slipstream, will it translate into lap time or round the final bend now? He comes up to the line, only goes 5th there, not quite as good as the benchmark time set by Paul there, who leads the field as things stand with 12 minutes left on the clock here in qualifying here at Silverstone. It is Paul on top, Fraser in second, but both NLR cars looking very strong. And that lap time from Moustache, I didn't think it would hold up too well, but it certainly did. Still in third. A few drivers yet to set a time, but plenty of drivers getting that benchmark time. And, quite a few of them going to need quite a lot more in this session.
Yeah, Paul's time seems unbeatable right now, but of course that may change in the next 12 minutes. We've got 14 drivers of the 17 or 18, I'm not quite sure what it is, but these drivers, 4 drivers have yet to set a time. Fleddy, of course, not in the session. I think Julian's actually... Is he going to have a qualifying ban? No, it's Clemo that is. Actually, I think maybe Julian. Maybe. Actually, Artem's got to set a lap. He's actually left the session, but I'm trying to get him in, and I'm going to try and get him back right now. If you can just hang on with me a second. Go on.
Not a problem. Well, qualifying not looking too bad at this stage. Plenty of things to talk about, and certainly in the case of these drivers, a lot to think about and consider. But the second rounds, they won't be too far away. In fact, actually, we started getting drivers out on track already. It is Alpha Gully who leads the field out for the second runs. You're going to get about 3 runs at this sort of circuit anymore. And something is either gone very wrong or very, very right for you. But nonetheless, Gully going to lead the field out here for these second runs. Paul there following out as well, followed by, I believe that is Xenon there, but I'm not quite able to, yes, it is Xenon. But my telemetry isn't giving me everyone's name because that would be far too easy. But nonetheless, a bit of guesswork, but not too difficult nonetheless. Geeton's there and Indian coming out of the pit lane, and there's a few more drivers following suit now as out of the pit lane comes Nesserino there for RCR, and followed there by Blitz, who obviously I believe are making their first appearance of the season here tonight, as they've had a bit of consistency down at RVL in terms of their driver pairing, but nonetheless, plenty of things to look at, plenty of things to think about, and plenty of time left to go in this qualifying session. But either way, it's going to be Alpha. Wow, it's not even going to be Alpha Gully. It's going to be Xenon leading us away for the second flying lap, Logan.
Yes, the Xenon in the Ferrari. Unfortunately, it's not Ollie Behrman. Sorry, guys. I know you wished it, but yeah, instead we've got the next best thing. We've got Xenon in the LDL team coming around to start his flying lap in the Ferrari with Silverstone. Of course, Silverstone, the last time he won here was 2018 in the real world. Almost won 2021 as he keeps making his way around the third turn and then into the fourth. Nicely through. He's almost hit the apex of both. That's pretty much good enough. If you hit too much the apex, it will actually slow you down. So coming through down the Wellington Straight and into Brooklands. Of course, this corner was added in 2010 to extend the course to just under 6 kilometers. And now coming round, he's going to get a toll from his teammate Glenn on the Woodcote, and he nearly hits him. Going in to Cops now. High speed, high risk corner, and he absolutely nails it coming round. Now it's time for Maggots, Beckett's, and Chapel. Another make or break section off the track. Every millisecond counts in this sport, and it just shows right here that's pretty decent from him. Goes a little wide out of Chapel, but now he's going to get another DRS from one of his opponents, which again is legal after all. They are pretty much giving you it on a plate, so it's down to them whether to give it to you. Now he's up to Stowe, and now into Vale. Breaks down to third gear, comes out of it, hits both apexes pretty nicely. Now coming through as his retirement there, and it's only 9th place. He's only managed to improve by 35 thousandths.
Absolutely, but someone who is looking to possibly improve on his lap time is Paul, who's coming around the final bend now, and up to the line goes Paul, sets that benchmark even higher. It's a 1:24.439. It's looking good for ETA as things stand. Can anyone respond to this? Because it is looking so difficult out here for these drivers to try and prevent anything from happening. But Moustache, I believe, on a hot lap here as well. Plenty of drivers on that lap time now. Lars Kramer there in 5th place. But, well, Logan, there's a lot of lap times to come. And,
Yes.
Paul's still out in front by 4.5 tenths of a second.
Yeah, it's looking like pole position rather than pole position. By the way, good news, Artem has returned to the session, so he may be able to get a lap or two in. I think maybe just a one, perhaps if he's lucky, get two. But it's glad to see him back in this course, and hopefully he gets a high enough position to prove that he's worthy of fighting for the win here tonight. Now you can see that's a toll from Lars Kramer. From Paul for Lars Kramer. ETA trying to maximise their chances here of winning tonight. Quarter second up, that looks very good. It could be second place as Moustache sets an improvement, but not enough to go up the order any further. Still about half a tenth behind Fraser in second in that CPI. Into Vale comes Lars Kramer. Comes through pretty snug on the exit club. And now final corner come, and it will be second place. It is an ETA 1-2 on their debut.
Yeah, not looking too bad at all for ETA as things stand. 5.5 minutes left on the clock here in this qualifying session, and it's ETA 1 and 2. Paul ahead by 0.3 of a second. Lars Kramer ahead of CPI. Fraser there in third, but not looking too bad at all. It's nice to see, though, Artem returning to the session. Blood Truck, who's currently down in 16th, hasn't got a lap time in this session either, and joins Artem in that unfortunate group of people who haven't been able to get a lap time as things stand. And well, the sector times aren't exactly coming alight for the for the driver there. And going on to the gravel, there was another car involved there. That was the Mercedes of I believe that was the Mercedes of Fraser. Yes, it absolutely was. Who just happened
not left the
to
pit
be.
yet.
Yeah, no. Interesting though for Blood Truck, because very much got caught off guard there by Fraser there for CPI, and disappointing for them. But nonetheless, well, what a sequence of lap times you've had up to this point. It's going to be difficult on these final runs, and well, there's just quite a few drivers who need to deliver a good lap here.
Indeed. So we've pretty much got about 4 minutes to go. I think we're just restricted to one lap here. By the way, if you are into the darts but can't watch the European Tour, Luke Littler's just beat Riccardo Petresco in the semi-final, and for some reason, Riccardo Petresco was very furious with Luke Littler. I don't know why, because I didn't see Luke do anything wrong. Maybe he's just a sore loser. Pikachu, a sore loser. Yeah, that's actually his nickname, Pikachu. Anyway, enough about throwing arrows and about throwing some lap times in qualifying. Artem has finally got out on track. He's going to try and set a cheeky lap time in, and Blood Truck has retired the session. I think he might have had a qualiban as well. Not quite sure. That's both of the Haas drivers out of the session. So that will be pretty much a backmark start for them. They were about, they're about 2 seconds down. That's not pretty looking at all. The bottom driver right now, still in the session, is Blitz over 1.5 tips down on Paul. 3 minutes and 10 seconds left as Paul is making the way out of the pits.
Absolutely, your current P1 in the, well, not in the championship, but certainly in this qualifying session. Just got under 3 minutes left on the clock here around this circuit. Such an iconic one, such a track known for pace, known for performance, and known for speed. A lot of different corners here, some very high speed, a couple, quite a few medium speed, but not many low speed opportunities, which means your battery is all the more crucial to manage and to think about around this sort of circuit. But Artem, who hasn't got a lap time in this session, is there with CPI. His teammate is in third. He's finally beginning a flying lap here. Can he reach the end of this one, or will he disconnect once again? Well, it's about time to tell and see what happens here. Luckily for him, no traffic to speak of there in the first portion of this lap. Got to be very careful there. Nesserina there on the left-hand side. Just going to maybe throw him off just a little bit. Artem now down the Wellington straight now. DRS wide open. That's going to give you about an extra 10 miles an hour or so. And there we go. Into Brooklands now, into Luffield. You've got to be careful. There's going to be cars parked up here trying to do their outlap here, and they've got to try and not get in the way here. But look at Fraser trying to give his teammate a toe, punch a hole in the air, and let Artem follow. And absolutely beautifully done there for CPI. And watch as he will move out the way just before they go into Maggots, Beckett, and Chapman. Very finely done there. Will it give him the absolute maximum lap time that he's going to want out of this one? Well, now into sector 3, down the hanger straight, and heading up towards Stowe. DRS wide open. Once again, those two DRS overtaking opportunities really going to help you in qualifying and in the race around here to get those all-important moves into Vale and then round the final club corner. And here we go, up to the line. It's third from Artem. What a lap time there. That's a great lap time from him.
Yeah, he looked quite scrappy going around the Maggots and Beckett section of the track, but it looks like that was probably just my view. It was quite choppy in all honesty, but nevertheless, Artem has got himself into third place. That is ahead of Fraser. CPI, by the way, the team that are dominating this championship, they've put Artem in and Fraser. Of course, Fraser has been a massive player for the team this season. Gatkoski's not here tonight, unfortunately, but it is Artem taking his position. Fantastic lap from them, and now they're up into the top 4. Just to let you know, it's ET8, CPI, and NLR, the top 6, 2x2 Noah's Ark style. And if we discount 7th and 8th, you've got the Alpines, the RCRs in 9th and 10th as well. As I do believe Lars Kramer is trying to improve.
Yes, he's got that purple sector 1 to his name, Mustang stand, coming through the final couple of corners now. Paul is also on a lap.
No, he's not.
No, he's not. He's not improving. He was on a lap, not improving. Lars Kramer, though, up to the line, doesn't improve by enough to get any closer than where he already was. But Fraser, he's on a lap time here. Can he move up the order? Well, his lap time and sector time certainly indicate that he could move up a place or 2 here possibly, but can he make it worthwhile? No, he doesn't improve by enough.
5 thousandths.
Yeah, not quite getting the lap time there in the final sector. Alpha Gully not setting a good lap time here to finish off the session. It looks like no one's really improving out here on this circuit, which is interesting. You'd think the track's at its best now. Well, the drivers, they just can't seem to extract any pace from it because no one is really improving around the Silverstone circuit here. But no one seeming to jump. But there, as I say that, Matt Zozo in 7th place there, moving up quite a few places there for RCR.
Whoa!
And wow, Julian up to 3rd. Not a bad lap time there. But wow.
That's it.
That's
the session.
And ETA.
It is pole position for pole position. Or
Wow.
actually, I'll say that again. Paul's position is pole position.
Yeah, crazy. Very interesting to see. And I'm just ETA. What a dream start for a dream team. A team so well loved within the community, and well, it's been a brilliant start to their campaign, to their season, with Paul on, well, pole position, Lars Kramer in second, Julian there in third, Artem fourth, Fraser in fifth, Moustache in sixth, seventh they're going to Alpha Gully, there Metazato there in eighth. I have no idea how to pronounce that name, I'm not gonna lie. And then Xenon ninth.
Matt Zozo,
there we go. And then Nessarina there in 10th. Obviously, points awarded to anyone who finishes, but that is your top 10 for qualifying here. We didn't have any grid penalties.
Nope.
Does that mean
so we're going straight into the start?
We're going straight into it.
I hope.
We love that.
Yes.
We love that.
Let's hope you don't get spawned into the race again, like last time.
That was great. That was brilliant.
I wish we could see you racing them, just getting pummeled left and right. And okay, that's enough, Logan. Right, this would be the part where we usually play God Save the King, but unfortunately we couldn't find the funds to hire a marching band.
You definitely couldn't, not on this particular occasion, but nonetheless, it is time, in just a few seconds, time to get underway for, well, at the Silverstone Circuit 4, what it promises to be a thrilling, I believe, 27 laps ahead of us here. If I've just got that right off the top of my head, I am going to be absolutely loving it. And I actually believe I was off by 1 lap. It's 26. So I'll be crying in the corner over that one later. But nonetheless, it is going to be Paul leading us away ahead of Lars Kramer. It's an ETA 1-2, but will it finish that way when the lights go out in just a couple of seconds time? But nonetheless, this promises to be an enthralling race full of so much drama, so much action, I have no doubt. Looks like it's going to be dry the entire way through, no indication otherwise, but nonetheless, talking about a marching band, here we go. 3, 4, 5 red lights, and it is lights out and away we go here in Silverstone. It's a good start for Paul here, ahead of Lars Kramer, looking further back. It's not been the greatest of starts for Moustache, who's already lost a place to his team. There's a massive crash! What has happened there? It's both CPI cars out of the race. Lap 1 crash. What has happened there? It's like Guan Yu Zhou when he went upside down, but this time, more carnage, more chaos. There's an understandable VSC, not even a full safety car there.
What?
But Fraser and Artem both out of this race. Lap 1. What has happened there? I have got no idea. I can't know. What?
I hold the answer, Byron. But seriously, that is CPI out of this race and no championship points. This means it is time for the team in below to strike while the iron's hot, LDL, but they've only really got Xenon in play. Glenn had a bad qualifying session, and they're the only team that can catch CPI. And this is a chance for NLR to close the gap too. But that is a shockingly embarrassing moment for CPI. They are out on the first possible corner. The worst way to go out.
Absolutely, back on the green flag action here. Looking at the tyre compounds, Alpha Gully lost the gained a place off the start versus his teammate. He's on the softs, that's no surprise there. Both CPI cars are out on lap 1. So surprising that wasn't a safety car. It definitely should have been, but nonetheless, front wings flew and action unfolded around the Silverstone circuit. But it is Paul who still leads the way here, and not surprising at all, realistically, and a bit of a tussle there towards the back, and a bit of a scrap happening here, and that is A spin there at the back for Inwa there for VMV, and well, the action continues nonetheless. Unfortunately, some drivers just not able to keep it out the walls here, and wow, there's plenty more action to unfold around this race circuit as Tindex there and Blitz battle away there for 15th and 16th respectively, but so disappointing for CPI. You've got a feel for them. Lap 1, turn 1. It doesn't get any more heartbreaking than that. Just absolutely gutting for them.
Yeah, right back to the race though. Sorry for your waffling. We have still the two Aston Martins up top. By the way, Nersinho's been given a 5-second penalty for a severe collision in that first lap tussle. Quite controversial, but that's what the game has awarded. It's a battle between Fleddy and Clen for the top 10 position, and it is Fleddy that's going to get the edge over Clen. Clen need these points. LDL need to close up on CPI after seeing what happened to them. A massive meltdown at the first corner. And that's Blood Truck getting past Guitot for 12th place. Further up, we've got a couple of drivers on softs, notably Alpha Gully and Indian on the softs. And they're trying to maximize all this potential in these faster degrading tires. And is Gully actually on the back of one of the ET8s already?
Yeah, not looking too bad at all as things stand in this one. And wow, the battling continuing as there. Indian gets past.
Byron?
Battling. Oh, my audio has gone on Discord, but it's not on the
Byron,
stream.
you're muted, buddy.
Yeah, no, I was fine on the stream because it's different, and I just realised that. But Indian there getting ahead of Moustache as well. I muted on Discord to unplug my headset and then realised all of a sudden it's on the stream anyway because it's done directly into OBS. So an embarrassing moment for me there, but nonetheless, lap number 3 of 26. DRS having been allowed Indian to get ahead of Moustache there, who's down to 6th place here. The soft tyre runners not looking half bad in this race. Alpha Gully obviously in 3rd place as things stand, and Indian there in 5th. Not looking too bad for either of them as things stand, but they're going to have to change tyres. Blood Truck 2 there in 12th, getting up into 11th as he gets past Clem there. So although LDL need to try and capitalise here, they're not really managing to do it as things stand. It's a bit difficult one for these guys. And while it's going to it's going to be a difficult race for them.
It is. Xenon can't seem to get any closer to soft tyre run of Alpha Gully, but surely when those tyres degrade, it might be a chance for Xenon to get ahead, but it doesn't seem like it's working for LDL. They need these points, and my goodness, Alpha Gully's right on the back of Lars Kramer, the guy that's moved to the new team ET8. Is going to try and see if he can get past Lars Kramer. I don't think that's going to be the plan right now, but they might have to think of something outside the box if they want to hold on to this 1-2. The NLR team is coming right in hot, and Alpha Gully is going to be the one that pulls the trigger, and eventually, when that moment comes, he seems like he's ready to prey on his... ready to catch his prey, if you can see. He's just sticking behind Lars Kramer for now. Xenon still not getting anywhere close. Further back, we see Clen needs to get up the order. He's actually going backwards instead, as we already have a 3-second time penalty for Index, and that's not what you want to have this early stage of the game, but it could be seeing a battle here. That's Lars Kramer is going to be in. It's going to be free wide. ET8 putting on a defensive job of going side by side to prevent Alpha Gully there. Nice teamwork there. It doesn't seem to be working, but is it going to give Alpha Gully a chance to go in Vale? No, not quite, Byron.
No, not looking too bad for him anyway in this race. Working very comfortably, and his top speed certainly shows it. The DRS really helping him in this race, and those soft tyres really coming into good effect. Looking at those around him, he was 13 kilometers an hour faster than the car in front of him, that being Lars Kramer. So he's having a great time of it as things stand, really looking good in this race, but nonetheless needs to try and get this overtake done, but certainly that couple extra miles an hour is going to be very useful, very helpful in that pursuit to try and get up into 2nd place. But still, ETA out in front with a 1-2. It's not looking bad for them, but Guitons and Super Spy are coming to blows once again, and well, running side by side as we go down and towards Copse Corner. Surely they go side by side through here. Oh, they're going to. What a scrap here. And wow,
Wow.
how respectful would you like it? Geeton's there and Super Spice side by side through Copse Corner. That's not an easy one to do. We've seen it go wrong before in league racing and in real life, but absolutely brilliant stuff from them.
Yeah. Max, Lewis, take note. Anyway, Blood Truck's going to get a past Clan. It's going to get any worse for the LDL boys as they cannot seem to get anywhere up the order. Just stuck in no man's land for now. And in fact, Blood Truck's teammate gets another 3-second penalty for track limits. He's got to be careful. He's got to keep it within bounds or he's going to rack up a massive load of penalties. Alpha Gully's still sticking around with the ET8 leaders. And is that a mistake there from Lars Kramer? He seemed to twitch around that third corner there, and now he's going to have a run, is Alpha Gully, to break this 1-2. The Wellington straight awaits, and now it's a chance for Alpha Gully to strike. Can he? No, he isn't getting anywhere near. Well, that's a missed opportunity there, I'd have to say. Saw a mistake, could have took advantage of it, but is ran out of road, and that's a battle for fifth between Moustache and Indian, and Moustache trying to look away around the outside at Luffield, but can't get it done.
Yeah, I mean, Moustache, he's realised that these soft tyres are beginning to wear out. They're not looking quite as healthy as they were a few laps ago, and the lap times will very much soon be reflecting on it. But Moustache, his tyres are already on 20% on those tyres. So you can only imagine what the softs are on. Well, they're on 33 in the case of Indian here, so it should be fairly plain sailing for Moustache, who gets up into 5th place. And very lovely done, sweet as you like it, and done and dusted. And now it's going to be a case of, well, Xenon's going to see that and surely think, okay, maybe it's now my time to try and strike on Alpha Gully out in front, because those softs, they're going to start to wear very, very soon. It's not going to take all too long for them to, so you're certainly going to have to be on the more careful side.
Sorry, Byron, there's a big battle going behind. Lost it coming out of club, but it's managed to keep it in 14th place. There's a massive battle between Blitz, HP Index, Blood Truck, and Super Spy, or Guitons as well, ahead of, behind of Clen. Clen is just, oh my goodness, he's 6 seconds behind as now Blood Truck gets a penalty. 6 seconds as Clen is behind Fleddy. It's not looking good at all for the LDL team, as we've said about like a broken record. It's just, this is the chance with CPI out of the picture. This should be the chance that LDL gets a way up through the points. Remember, 35 points for a win, and there's a spin. That's Blood Truck has lost it out of Luffield. He spanned right onto the grass infield, and now he is down into last of the current runners and promotes those behind him up a spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Lap 7 of 26 here at Silverstone. We've only had 2 retirees thus far, both happening on lap 1, turn 1, and that was your CPI drivers, both of them falling susceptible and colliding, believe, with one another. Bit of an embarrassing moment for that team, but it's certainly not an embarrassing moment for ETA. Still out in front, 1 and 2, but Alpha Gully trying to worm his way in and break this up here on lap number 8 as these drivers filter around once more, so close. The entire grid from first all the way down to 10th, within a second of each other, as Alpha Gully gets very close up to the back of Lars Kramer there, and now heading down the straight once more. Is it time for Alpha Gully to try and make a move? Here we go, down the inside as we go down into Brooklands and then through to Luffield, but Lars Kramer very firm on the defense, a little tap on the rear, and very well defended from Lars Kramer, because he just did not allow Alpha Gully any way through, and that is exactly what you want to do.
Yeah, he actually hit him at Luffield. Doesn't seem to have done much damage, maybe just a little love tap saying, hey, come on, move it, I want through. With Xenon's catching me now. Xenon was distance away compared to Alpha Gully and Lars. Now he's right up close with Alpha Gully. Are those soft tyres starting to feel the heat maybe? We should be going to the midpoint of the race for a tyre change, but it looks like Paul and Lars Kramer are just too good for Alpha Gully right now. He just seems to get anywhere. Further back, the gap between 10th and 11th has now went to 7 seconds as Clem is battling Guitart on the outside and gets a nice move in there to get into 11th place.
Absolutely, there's battling continuing across the field, but Alpha Gully, your main driver, as things stand in terms of trying to get an overtake in the next couple of laps on those soft tyres. He's been able to use them to gain places and obviously got ahead of both CPIs early on this race when they decided to, well, firmly remove each other from the race. Yeah, as you say, Logan, self-destructing and, well, no surprise there. These drivers, they do sometimes have a tendency to self-destruct, and it's very disappointing for that team. But nonetheless, actually continuing, and Lars Kramer trying to defend once again from Alpha Gully going up, and I thought that possibly Alpha Gully was close enough to go side by side into Cops, but not quite. The camera was just being a little bit deceiving, but nonetheless, as things were, and continuing as we were around the lap here, but it won't be all too long until we see these soft tyre runners come into the pit lane, because, especially in the case of, well, certainly, if you look at the tyre wear that Moustache has on, well, he's only on 32%, but then you look at Indian behind 54%, so those soft tyres, they are cooking, and, well, they're not going to last all too much longer.
And I have to say the same myself. It's not looking good for those drivers. But Alpha give up right behind Lars Kramer again. It doesn't look like 2 tenths as it sees on my graph, but that's what it says. They're all very close to each other, are the top 10. Meanwhile, the drivers in 11th downwards, 8 seconds behind. The gap just keeps getting larger and larger. They basically have to hope there's a safety car or something, because this is the last thing you want, especially fighting for 11th place. Yes, you get points, but it is quite embarrassing when you're supposed to be that close and you can't get anywhere up. But that's the nature of Formula Racing in all categories. But as we go to the front once again, still a 1-2 for ET8, and then NLR have a sandwich with LDL as the meat. We've got RCR running in 7th and 8th, but remember, Nercino has a penalty for a collision at the first turn after CPI's self-destruction, as we have quoted about 50 times already in this race. But now, is Alpha Gully going to launch a challenge on Lars? He almost did earlier on, but is going to find one? No, he's not close enough. Once again, the ET is proving to be impenetrable with their strategy, and this 1-2 seems like it's going to hold on for a little more longer.
Yeah, certainly ET8 looking impenetrable. They built a wall up on this race, and they're really locking it down as much as they possibly can. And doing a fine job. Pit stop, yeah, as you say, that's Bloodtruck coming in that back train, so not really gonna put any pressure on that top 10 all too much, but the first pit stop of many, I'm sure. Some of these teams and drivers, they're going to be looking at the pace of Bloodtruck. You know, he's not as fast as everyone else, sure, but how much faster will he go on a fresh set of tyres versus those used tyres? That is what they'll be looking at. But very interesting to see that Alpha Gully, he's really not been able to make those inroads that we maybe expected from the Williams, you know, NLR driver on the soft tyres. But you've got to think, on kind of this point in the race, you're on about 56, 57, 58% tyre wear. You know, it's not going to exactly get you too much longer into this race. Surely he comes in at the end of this lap, because as much as the pace, you know, is still there because of this DRS train, he can't make inroads on those ahead.
He can't indeed. It's just starting to get much closer, by the way, at the top. But it doesn't seem like this is the plan. I think the plan is to just, you know, stay in 1-2. And there's going to be some pit stops. That is Alpha Gully coming in. That is Indian coming in, and Matt Zozo coming in as well. So that means... Oh! Whoa! What's happened there, Arsenio? He's had a massive crash. I do not know what happened. He must have lost out of club. But that is the end of Mercedes racing. We have a virtual safety car.
He spun on the exit of club and went into the pit wall. Another crash in this race. And well, it's a very good time to pit if you are Alpha Gully, Xenon, Indian, Matt Zozo, or Geetons, or Inwa, because that virtual safety car, it provides a brilliant opportunity to save time under that pit stop conditions, that's virtual safety car conditions. It's not going to work quite as much benefit because of how late it was to come out. But nonetheless, Paul, Lars Kramer and Moustache, if the virtual safety car doesn't last too much longer, they're going to lose a bit of time through that virtual safety car conditions. And I believe the safety car is coming, well, the virtual safety car has already ended. So it's going to be Paul, Lars Kramer, Moustache, Julian, Fleddy and Clem, your top 6 as the green flag wave once again. But they've certainly lost some time in the pit lane there, because if you look at Alpha Gully, he's 25 seconds behind Paul here, and a pit stop here could take you anywhere between about 25 seconds and about 30.
This is bad news for ETA. All of a sudden, they thought, oh, we're in 1 and 2. This is no problem. And all of a sudden, crash, bang, wallop. Everything goes out the window. Xenon is fighting Alpha Gully for the position. And that's Indian there too. This is a massive freeway battle. And it's only for 10th because Cleanse are just about to pit. But this is going to be the long haul now for ETA as the battle continues for currently 10th. It definitely won't be 10th for long because it's going to be 9th. As Glenn has already pit now. He's going to fall right down the order, though. This is the last thing he would have wanted. So, that is Xenon getting ahead now in 9th. Further up, Moustache is now the chaser against ETA. The rules have reversed at NLR. Moustache is going to use his magnificent moustache to get up the order, hopefully. But the ETA drivers just seem to be very orchestrated, very composed, and seemingly unbeatable right now. But we're only halfway there, and they are going to be living on a prayer.
Absolutely, a lovely song reference there, but nonetheless, you gotta do it. Why not? Alpha Gully, he's trying to get his way ahead of Xenon here, but a change for the lead there, as you mentioned, as Paul gets ahead of Lars Kramer. Probably just a strategic based on how much speed they've
coming
got.
In, that's why.
Exactly, based on when they're coming into the pit lane, that's it. Lars Kramer into the pit lane, and that is Paul taking the lead here. But where will Lars Kramer come out in all of this? Because think about Xenon, Alpha Gully, Indian, who are coming through and towards the end of the DRS straight into Stowe Corner now. This could be Lars Kramer down many places here as a result of that virtual safety car that came out at very unfortunate timing. Where is Alpha Gully, Xenon and Indian going to come out? Will they be ahead of Lars Kramer, or will they be behind Lars Kramer? He's trundling down the pit lane now, but there he's going to be passed. Yeah, he's passed by all of them, and he might even get passed by, he won't get passed by Blitz because he's in the pit lane, but Geeton's there coming through. Abby won't obviously get that place, but Alpha Gully is ahead of them by, well, looking at my telemetry here, he's ahead by about 5 seconds. He gained about 5 seconds there through that pit stop. Is he going to get ahead of Xenon here? Yes, he is.
Byron! 3 wide into the Brooklands. Can you believe this? Look at this! Massive battle!
Christ, what a battle here between Xenon, Indian and Alpha Gully. Alpha Gully was trying to get the move there on Xenon, but has actually come out the worst now because he's lost a place there to Indian here. But look at Matt Zozo there behind, also in the wings, trying to get the place here as well, as now Indian looks to get ahead of Xenon here, going through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel Corner now. And on to the second DRS zone, surely.
Pits.
There's going to be even more here as more people come into the pit lane. That is Paul, Moustache and Julian there coming into the pit lane. They're going to come up behind of this gaggle of cars here. In fact, it might be Indian who leads the race after this pit stop phase, because as things stand, he's currently the net race leader here in Silverstone and wasn't overtaken there by Xenon as we went into Stowe But the pressure is certainly on for Xenon and Indian here. They weren't in contention for this race win. You wouldn't have put them as your bet, and you wouldn't put your money on them. You would have put it
Right
on
down the
ETA,
order.
but they're down the order because, well, ETA are down the order because, unfortunately for them, that virtual safety car just wasn't rightly timed for them.
Absolutely not. And now they're 8th and 9th. The net leader is Indian. Indian started this race in 12th. He is now leading the race. Can you believe it?
Yeah, absolutely crazy stuff here, but no surprise that this is going a bit difficult, a bit wayward for some, because, you know, it's never going to go to plan in Formula 1. It never goes to plan in league racing. You've got to expect these sort of things will happen. Sometimes things will come a cropper and you won't always get the ideal and best result. But here we go. Indian, your net race leader here on lap 15 as Fleddy comes into the pit lane, probably followed by Lost Super Spy as well. 14 laps on those hard tyres, but there, Xenon ahead of Indian here. Blood Truck, another 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. A yellow flag
He's
there,
out.
and he is out of the race. Is that an on-track retirement?
It's on track retirement. He's going to get penalised for that. That is a big no-no in league racing. You cannot retire on the track. Floody's actually come in. Not been a good day for IRT in all honesty. They've fallen right down. They used to be very consistent in these races up to this point, but it doesn't seem like anything's going their way tonight. They're now in the bottom 5. I think top 15 do get points, but only if they compete 90% of the race.
Absolutely, they will get points still, regardless of where they finish, providing they get to that checkered flag come the end, or at least do 90% of this race and are classified. But as a result, you've got to at least get a good chunk into this race. You're looking at lap 22, lap 23 or so in order to get classified. But nonetheless, here we are on lap 16 of 26, 10 laps to go in this one, Logan. My voice is already hurting from talking about over all of this drama, all of this action we've had up to this point in the race. I have no idea how you feel, Logan. Obviously, having been recently unwell, but well, nonetheless, we're getting we're getting a great load of action here to whet the appetite and give us a brilliant day.
Yeah, sorry, I was about to say Indians went back into the lead, and now we'll have the definite lead because the two drivers ahead that haven't pit yet have now pit, and Paul and Lars Kramer have changed positions once again, particularly a strategic move, and actually got the fastest lap. So he's now in 5th place, and Lars Kramer is 6th. Again, they have a lot of work to do if they want to claw back up to the top. I'm sure with them on better tyres, they will have an edge, although they are 2.6 seconds behind, but I think they're going to do a lot of switcheroos to try and get themselves up, closing that gap.
Yes, well, plenty of things to look at as we build up towards the end of this race. And obviously those who've just come into the pit lane for a set of softs, they know they can run the distance in this race because we saw it with those who've already pit in this one. So they've got a chance. It's going to be a very slim chance at that of getting many places gained, but they've certainly got a chance. But Indian continues to lead here in this one, has that definite race lead for the first time, but Xenon wants to try and take it away. 2.5 tenths, the difference between these two. You'll gain that easily down this straight, but do you want to apply the pressure? Do you want to make the overtake? Well, Xenon certainly does. Here we go.
There it is.
Lap 17, up into the lead. Lars Kramer, though, getting ahead of Paul there. Paul, who obviously led the race for so long, and now losing out to his teammate there, but they got 2 seconds to try and get into the battle for this race win. So they need to try and work together here, use each other as a bit of a slingshot to try and catch up to this top 4, because if they don't work together here, they're going to fall susceptible to those behind.
But Byron, they might not need to, because the top 4 are now very close to each other. They could be squabbling a lot. It could help the ET8 guys if they squabble too much. Look at that gap. He said it was 2 seconds. It's 1.2 now. They're squabbling an awful lot, and this is only harming the top 4. Suddenly, the race is back on for ETA all of a sudden. So do not count them out of this race one bit at all. With that tyre advantage, they could sneakily get their way up the order and could take back the the race win today. So can they make all this? Remember, 1 second DRS gap. They're right on the verge of entering that threshold. I think they'll get it here. They've got it now. They've got it now, and Moustache is there with them too. So we're going to have a 7-way fight for the win.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, 5 teams within that. So 5 teams in contention for the race win here. And Paul there getting ahead of his teammate once again, working together. ETA to try and get the absolute maximum out of this race. But as I said, it's going to be a tall order for them to try and gain 2 seconds. Well, they've already done half of that. They're in the DRS, and now they can follow this train and just keep close with this battle for the lead, use the pace and that tyre advance they've got when they need it. But the most important thing is that they don't need it right now. They've got plenty of laps to try and think about exactly how they approach this situation. But Paul is right on the back of Matt Zozo here, trying to get back into that top 4. Well, at one point was as far down as 9th after...
Here we go.
So here we go. Trying to go down the inside on Matt Zozo there, but now the outside turns. Well, the inside turns to the outside through that sequence of corners, but they're beautifully done by Paul and nearly going into that, well, touching the rear of Alpha Gully there in and through Luffield, but nonetheless, beautifully done for Paul and up into the top 4 once again. It might have been a strategy disaster class. They might have been 5 seconds back, but you can't count them out because their post has been absolutely sublime.
It has. It wasn't really a disaster class. It was a series of unfortunate events, to quote Lemony Snicket. That is Lawrence Kramer up into 5th now. There's a change for the lead. Indian is again. And that's Xenon behind, and now Alpha Gully's for the podium. Into the inside they go, and that's Alpha Gully looking for 2nd place. He's got to be careful. And here comes Paul for 3rd place. They are at Club Corner. The last thing Alpha Gully wanted, and so all of a sudden, back behind an ET8 driver. It's just like earlier on tonight. And now it's Moustache and Lars Kramer fighting them. Here comes Lars Kramer on the outside of Alpha Gully into the inside of Loop. And now an injury, he's going to get in position now, and he's going to get over to his teammate even. They're battling, and he's pushed off the road almost. But this is a disaster for Alpha Gully. He's lost a lot of time. This has helped Indian all of a sudden. He's now 6/10 ahead of the field.
Absolutely. Alpha Gully, 3 places in the space of 3 corners. Unfortunate series of events for him, but nonetheless, brilliant overtakes there from Paul, Lars Kramer and Moustache to get ahead of Alpha Gully and up into their respective positions. But now Paul already trying to mount the pressure. We were saying about how it helped Indian pull away. Well, that gap closed, but so did the gap between Xenon and Paul, because he's already within a 1/10 of a second now as we go down the hanger straight. That is it. Paul, 3 wide moment here as we go down into Stowe Corner, and Paul up into 2nd ahead of Indian as Xenon gets up into the race lead. But for the lead, side by side as they go down into Vale Corner now. What an overtake. What a couple laps here for ETA. Just a few laps ago, they were a couple seconds off this train, and now on lap 21, they're leading the race once again.
Xenon will be appalled. Get it? See? Now Lars Kramer's going to try and do the same. But Moustache is being at the inside, and see, he's going for a dive! Down Indian, he can't get it, he's defending on Moustache, it seems like, and it has worked out as he tries to replicate what Paul has just achieved. A massive double whammy for Indian. He's went from 1st to 3rd in a couple of corners, and now he's lost the position to Lars Kramer. Kramer into the podium once again. This strategy to counter the virtual safety car debacle has worked out a treat, and now if they take Xenon, they will be at where they were before, a 1-2. Austria. It was Canada, wasn't it?
Nonetheless, I might have been muted on the stream the entire time, but
No,
I might
don't
have
you
been.
dare.
I might have for about 30 seconds. But
They
nonetheless,
would let you know.
Lars Kramer, he's very much mounting the pressure on Xenon here. It's lap 22 of 26 here around the Silverstone circuit. There's an incident there further back. That is Fleddy, who has taken a spin there. Ooh.
Mazzoso. It was
And,
Mazzoso and Fleddy. Sorry, not to like cut away from you. Looks like the lead is extended to nearly 7 attempts for Paul on Xenon, and now he's going to be under the watchful eye of Lars Kramer come out of Hanger Straight.
Absolutely, but here we go. Lars Kramer now looking to try and get up into second place, but Xenon, he's got DRS to try and help him, but the straight line speed of Aston Martin, you don't even have to think about it. The overtake is done before you've even thought about it, because Lars Kramer, he's up into second. It's an ETA 1-2 once more.
No.
It's as it started, but this time they've had to really fight for it. They've had to really put the pressure on. They were 5 seconds down at one point, but they're back up. It's 1 and 2, Xenon in third. But those fresh tyres, that counter strategy, it's really worked wonders for them. And now Moustache looks to mount the pressure onto Xenon to try and get onto that podium.
And Xenon is trying to mount the pressure back on Lars and try and... But it doesn't seem like it's going to be working right now. It's just the fresh tyres, the advantage. They're key to the door, the key to success. It is just proving that wherever you are, it doesn't matter. Any league and ETA are about to get a 1-2 on their debut. It's not like for 65 points or something, or I haven't really remembered what the scoring system is, but I know it's 35 for first. This will take them into 6th place in the championship. This is absolutely incredible.
Yes, absolutely is. Not a bad start for a team that are known for having those very talented drivers, and they're certainly showing it here tonight, putting a strong foot down and showing that they're not here to mess around. They're here to compete, then they're here to fight week in and week out, replacing WR. Another team known for that same mentality, fighting until the last lap. Well, ETA have certainly had to do that tonight. They were down and out of this one. Almost called them out of contention after that virtual safety car. They were so far away. It looked like a tantalising end goal that they wouldn't be able to reach. But nonetheless, they've been able to pull an absolute blinder and get a great result out of this race. As things stand, 3 laps to go. But nonetheless, it is still ETA out in front, as it was when we began this race all the way back about 40 minutes ago.
Yeah, so it's Xenon. It's very close to Lars Kramer and Paul, but he still can't get anywhere. In fact, Moustache is closer to him. This is for the last podium positions. Actually, it's for all the podium positions, the top 3. Technically, Lars and Paul still in that battle. They have the edge, though, the grip, the experience, the guts. It's got everything going for them, but Xenon will not give up without a fight. He still has half battery left and is still trundling on. So is Moustache with the same stats. And now there's going to be a fight on for 3rd place, and this is a chance for Moustache to get ahead, to get up there and fight the ET8 gentlemen, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be working further back. Zozo and Julian battling for 7th, and it is Julian that wins position for IRT, another couple of points going to them, and now it is still the ET8's 1 and 2. 2 laps to go.
Absolutely, and it's getting a little bit feisty. It's getting a little bit close between these drivers now, and I'm noticing in the Twitch chat the discussion around what happens here with Xenon, saying that Xenon will never attack them. He's too far away, but if Moustache doesn't pass Xenon, they'll easily get a 1-2. So it's down to Moustache to try and make the move here, to try and mount that pressure on, and he really needs to do it here because that could be a crucial and deciding point in this race. It could get him third, but it could get him second. But depending on how it goes, it could go all wrong and see him further down the order. But everything as things was just this time last lap. But unfortunately for quite a few of these drivers, maybe they want a little bit more. They've got this last lap to try and get that all-important overtake, to try and mount that all-important challenge. And in the case of Moustache, he's going to want this podium. He's going to be fighting for this podium because, well, he has not fought all race to try and come home with that wooden spoon. And, well, he's now going to try and get ahead of Xenon. It's closer than it's been on previous laps. Is he able to make the move? Xenon in the straight line, though, just got so much straight line speed. He's just nothing that Moustache could do to try and get ahead of that Ferrari. And, well, the defense through the corners, he's doing enough, Xenon, to try and get that podium. But as Paul crosses and begins the final lap of this race, it's still ETA 1 and 2. I mean, what a debut for that team.
Yes, indeed. Big move for Glenn, though. He's got another point. That move splits into 12th place. But back to the front now, it's seemingly unbeatable ET8 on their first appearance here in the Competitive Speed Series. Going to be too competitive on the day, even with a virtual safety car possibly botching their strategy. It found a way back. They fought outside the box, and it has worked out a treat. Moustache and Xenon battling for that final spot. Paul and Lars just going down, bringing it home. And Indian behind. It could have been the win for him, but no, he's had to settle in for 5th place. Still a good haul of points for VMV. But now it should be ET8 boys seemingly untouchable coming into the final time. Maggots, Beckett, and the Chapel. Moustache is gearing up a move. This is it. Place.
Is he able to do it as we go down the hangar straight once more? It is do or die time, but it looks like the straight line speed just isn't there for Moustache. He wasn't able to make that all-important overtake. The straight line speed of Xenon was just enough, but on debut here in Competitive Speed Series, it has been a roller coaster ride for ETA, but they have come, they have conquered, and they have delivered. It's a 1-2 for the debutants here. Lars Kramer there in second, Paul taking the race win. What a debut for that team. But Xenon there third, Moustache in fourth, Indian in fifth, Alpha Gully there in sixth, sorry, Julian seventh, eighth to Matt Zozo, Guitont in ninth, 10th going to Floody, Inwa 11th, Klen in 12th, Blitz 13th, Lost Super Spy in 14th, and Hatindex there in 15th there. But what a debut for ETA. You couldn't have asked for anything more from a team that have rocked up for the very first time, and they well and truly delivered, just like we've seen the likes of Braun GP do in real life.
Yep, that is a full docket of 65 points in terms of the race finishing positions for ETA. They will instantly go up to 6 in the championship, ahead of half of the teams. Actually, no, 6 of the other teams. 5 of the other teams, sorry. And, of course, WR we pretty much discount as they are no longer in the league. And they are now the only other team other than CPI who got 2 1-2s in a row to get a 1-2 this season. They managed to score absolutely nothing after a first lap disaster for them. And I should mention LDL did not score enough points. They got 26 for third place, that's 107. And if you add the 12th place, that's another 4. That puts them on 191. So CPI should be quite fortunate. They are still in the lead of this championship.
Absolutely, but here we go, your race results. It is Paul ahead of Lars Kramer, a 1-2, a dream start for ETA. Xenon there in third, Moustache fourth, Indian fifth, Alpha Gully there in 6th, 7th going to Julian, Matt Zozo 8th, 9th Guitons, Fleddy in 10th, Inwa 11th, Klen, Blitz, Lost Super Spy, and Hatindex there in 15th. Your DNF's Blood Truck there, who retired on track, that is definitely going to be sent to the should. Nesserino there, and then your 2 CPIs who went and had a disaster on lap 1, turn 1, and that was Artem there and Fraser there. But what a opening and debut round for, well, one team and one team only. You can't have asked for anything more, because that was just a great time for a team known for some great results. And that rounds out round number 5 of the championship. And up next is that all-important round 6, where we head to Belgium. It's going to be another, well, it's going to be
7 kilometers of hell.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be one of those where, well, there's going to be a lot of overtaking opportunities around that circuit too. The bus stop chicane, you know, turn 1, you've got plenty of overtaking opportunities as well. The Camel Straight, but does anyone try and go side by side up through Eau Rouge and Radion? Could you imagine? That would be absolutely scenes. I cannot wait to see what happens in a week's time when we head there. That's going to be a barnstormer of a race, but it doesn't look like we're going to get anyone for an interview, unfortunately. No. But
can I just say something? But I'd like to apologise for the CPI team, calling them embarrassing. If it was a bit harsh, it was just disastrous. We could see, yes. It doesn't really pin the blame on anyone when you say disastrous, but it wasn't actually really their fault. I think it was a collision with Julian that got them out of control. I'm just watching it again. Oh dear. You can't really help that, in all honesty. I mean, they just got tangled with the McLaren, and they just had an unfortunate moment where the tire tethers came off, and that was it for them. There was nowhere to go but down and out for a CPI tonight.
Absolutely, but no surprise, it's a difficult race for them, but they will definitely bounce back next time out when we head to the circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, and there'll be certainly quite a bit of bouncing around that sort of circuit too, because, well, the undulation of that circuit certainly provides for many opportunities to, well, go over the curbs a bit too much and have a bit of a rough ride around that circuit. One of those very authentic and very difficult race circuits, but that will be next week, next time out. It doesn't, well, we aren't going to get anyone for an interview, but nonetheless, it's going to be brilliant when we head to Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps next time out for round number 6 of competitive speed series. But that was round number 5. That was Silverstone. I mean, you couldn't have asked for anything better. I cannot even begin to fathom what the rest of the season is going to look like, because that was just too close to cool.
Yes, it was indeed. So that there was so many battles happening. 7-way fight at one stage, but even with that, ET8 were just seemingly unstoppable in their debut.
Absolutely unstoppable indeed, but nonetheless, it will be a case to see if they can continue that momentum. Can they take another one to next time out when we head to Belgium, the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps? 7 kilometers of pure racing action, a iconic driver's circuit. None of this street circuit stuff. It is pure adrenaline, pure racing driver. And, well, that will be very fun indeed.
Before it became permanent, it was a road course. It was technically on streets.
All right. I know. But nowadays, it is a racing circuit. It's a purpose-built racing circuit. So, nonetheless, but that will be next time out when we take to that circuit. But for now, thank you very much for being here alongside myself and Logan. We have been streaming for an hour and 21. Thank you for joining us if you've been here since the start, or thank you for joining us if you've only just joined us for the end of that race. But thank you for listening to us waffle for the last hour and 20. But until next time, when we head to Belgium, bye-bye.